Hello and welcome back to Brighten Up. In this video, I would like to share a very minimalist pantry organization with clear classification. If you are newly married or new to homemaking, this will assure you a proper guidance. Before starting, let me remind you, if you are new to this and plan to invest on kitchen containers and jars, then try to make it transparent. I always prefer for categorization for any organization, which will give you a clarity, keeping things organized for long, and of course stress-free way of dealing with all this. The very first category will be the rice and wheat flour category, as they are indeed major staple food in India. Usually we store them in big containers comparatively, so the better place to store them will be the under countertop shelf. Now the second preference and the second category will be these lentils or pulses. Consumption of these are very essential. A good meal prep will help you to add all of them in your diet. These include red grams, red lentils, green grams, and sometimes the mix. Storing them in a transparent jar will help you for proper intake and save from the wastage. Now group them and store in an open shelf, or you can store it in a cabinet nearby your countertop. The third category is the spices, where I prefer to store the whole spice and the powdered one separately. I have stored all these whole spices in this pretty clear jar and kept in the shelf above my countertop. Next comes in the same category but stored separate. Turmeric, coriander and chili, which is very commonly used in our Indian dishes. Try to store them together in clear jar and in handy. I found there is nothing wrong to call them handy masala, as we used to take them daily basis. So I prefer to store them on my countertop only. These small narrow trays help me to keep this segregation very neatly without occupying more space. Likewise, I prefer to keep handy is these cumin, fenugreek and mustard seeds. By the way, these cute bottles are actually juice bottles which I have collected and used to store these. You can collect similar looking jars or bottles to categorize your items, which will definitely provide some visual elegance. And if you are using something else in this category like chili flakes, methi, etc., can also be stored here. Now placing them on countertop is not mandatory, but try to keep them in reach to your cooking area. Here comes our fourth category, that is our cooking essentials: salt, oil and vinegar. If you are using something else on daily basis, you can add here. In this category, you can add your ghee jars too. One tip here is that try to store these type of aesthetic items in ceramic jars to avoid reactions. As we use them on daily basis, storing them on countertop is the best option. Fifth one is the tea, coffee and sugar category. In this category, you can also add brown sugar or your honey bottle. As we use this in daily basis, I used to keep in my countertop only. Sixth one is the snacks category. We can call it is a ready to eat category. Here we can add a healthy option too by including dry fruits. If you are someone who loves cookies and mixtures, then you can add it here, but try to limit the intake. Seventh and the very useful category is the breakfast item category, where you can include your cereals, oats, ragi, flattened rice, multigrains. In addition, I am using rice flours and wheat flours, where I commonly used to make idli, dosha, wheat dosha, etc. If you develop a habit to make this segregation and keeping track, then it will save you a ton of time. Now comes the storing place. There is no need to store them on countertop. You can store anywhere in the kitchen cabinet. But don't forget to do a frequent check. Again, remaining the benefit of transparent jars. If you have some, then it's too good, and if not, try to shift gradually, as homemaking is not an overnight job. These are 7 segregation for pantry. Hope I have made it clear. I found it very basic way of organizing. You can call it as a minimalist pantry organization. But it's not enough for any kitchen because we have some open packets, some extras also. For that, you can consider baskets. You can decide the size of the basket as per your need. On my observation, 2 baskets are more enough for a minimal storage. One for extra packets, another for the opened one. And let me remind you, there is no compulsory of buying this type of baskets. You can make such organizer using cardboard box very easily. One thing you have to make sure that it should be covered very properly for the neater look and to save your items. Here I am using this DIY basket for storing my open packets. That's all for today. I hope you found it useful. Thanks for watching and please do consider subscribing.